Good evening, everybody. Here we are with another session. And today's session is, I think, favorite of all of us. It is Connect Over Control. First of all, I would like to thank CatFit for giving us this opportunity. We are getting amazing topics to discuss here. Today we have Joyita Mukherjee with us. She's an educator, and as always, I would like to add, she is very, very, very passionate about children. That means a world to her. And of course, I have this beautiful Prachi Tiwari. She's the psychologist for the team. So here we are. This is our favorite topic. In fact, I must confess that before we went live, we were already at it. I think we were going on, and we really realized that, my God, कितना अंदर भरा हुआ है हमने और कितना निकालना है. So I think it's going to be a very interesting session. Connect over control. What does it really tell us? या हम कंट्रोल कर लें या हम कनेक्ट कर लें. Is it something like that? Actually, if you ask me, kids really look for unconditional love. They wait for that validation from their parents. And of course, they connect mostly with people who give them respect and love. So before I start this, I would like to ask Joyita. Joyita, please tell us something about the topic itself.
First of all, it charged me. Connect over control completely charged me up because a myriad things went through my mind. When I was a youngster, when I was very young, I've seen a lot of control. I think most people of my generation have. And we were always told, this is for your good. This is for your good. And we believed them because we didn't know any better. But as time passed by, and then I became an educator, the first thing I did was to think back on my days as a student, and I realized how much I hated that control. So the first thing I set out for myself was, I will never control. I will connect in a manner which will bring about control on its own. Whether, my connect will lead to the students understanding that they need to be controlled, maybe in their behavior, maybe in their speech, maybe in their actions, maybe in their thoughts. And they will automatically be the kind of people that I want them to be. Because I am going to try very hard to be the kind of person they want me to be. That's where the connect happens. I expect them to respect me. They expect me to respect them. They're human beings. We were just talking before this show started. I mean, even when I look at my own child, yes, he's my child, he's my creation, but I'm not his proprietor. I am a facilitator for bringing him onto this earth.
Very well said, Joyita.
Yes, we just need to remember that. We need to understand that. If you connect from the mind, you will automatically connect through the heart. You don't need danda, so to say.
That's true. You very well, beautifully explained it to us. Parents' approach are based either on control or it's based on connection. There is no middle path somehow. I don't know why though. The goal of the connection, basically connection-oriented parents, is to establish a respectful, trusting, reciprocal relationship. आप रिस्पेक्ट देते हो, आपको रिस्पेक्ट मिलती है. आप लव देते हो, आपको लव मिलता है. You give understanding, they also try to understand you. But in controlling kind of parents, what happens is when parents are there to just modify your behavior all the time, and they already place themselves at a pedestal when they feel that, okay, fine, you are my child and you just have to listen to me. It's either my way or it's highway. Then what happens is that actually kids start to disconnect with their parents. Whatever said and done, they can only respect those people where they find connection. You would have seen, Joyita, so many times a child may not be able to connect with their own parents, but they beautifully connect with an outsider. That's because the other person is giving them attention. They are giving them time. They want to hear their story. I have seen dime a dozen mothers, they have no time for their own child. They don't want to hear your story. It's not because they're purposely doing it, but because they just take it everything for very, like for granted.
We take it for granted.
और जब गुस्सा आया तो थप्पड़ मार दिया.
And Shefali ma'am, there are people in this generation, we have seen that some strangers can take advantage of this situation is at your home. That your child is not connected with you, that means you have broken the communication. And every time in every webinar, I tell that communication is the key. And if you are not having that connect, you have not having that communication. And then we have seen other people who are actually manipulating your kid, and taking advantage of your child, because उनको पता है कि ये बच्चा अपने माँ बाप से नहीं जुड़ा है, तो मैं इसका फायदा उठा लूं. So आप सोचो कि हम किस लेवल तक हार्म और रिस्क क्रिएट कर रहे हैं अपने बच्चों के साथ में, when we are trying to control them and but not trying to establish the connection.
That's true. But, Prachi, another thing that I want to, want people to actually think about it, that the lasting changes in your child's attitude and behavior, they do not happen by lecturing, correcting, punishing, and humiliating. People need to know that. थोड़े टाइम के लिए हो सकता है you might feel कि हमने इसको reprimand किया और ये ठीक हो गया, but actually वो नहीं होता. Children learn best when they are encouraged and not criticized. What do you think, Joyita?
Oh, 100%. See, if I am constantly going to tell a child, don't do this, don't do that, this is wrong, this is harmful, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm depriving that child of ever making a choice.
True.
Give them the choice. Give them the chance to go wrong, and for them to find the strategies to negotiate around the wrongs, and let them know I am there to support you, not to tell you what to do. You should, there's a strategy. It's a pedagogical strategy.
Absolutely.
You take the child where he is supposed to go.
Right.
But don't tell him what to see. That has to be the child's choice. What the child wants to see.
I think the connection that you are talking about, connecting with your child, it involves more like empathy, support, nurturance, and love, of course.
Empathy, support, love, time, touch.
And basically, children should realize that my parents are genuinely interested in me.
Of course. Right. And let them know it's okay to fail. It is okay to make mistakes. Why are we all in this race of, producing perfect children? I am not perfect. How the hell do I expect a perfection from another human being? We are human beings, so we are not perfect. Accept it. And like I was saying, first of all, accept that you don't own your child.
That's a very important thing.
There's no ownership. There's no proprietorship, please. That's very important.
It truly is. I think that's the most important thing. We don't, we forget these little things. We feel that, okay, fine, we are in charge of his or her life. And we need to take decisions for them. And that's where we actually go wrong. Because हम बच्चे को वही वाली बात है, whatever said and done, हम उसको अपना decision लेने ही नहीं देते हैं. And हमें लगता है कि हम ही इसका decision ले लें. We don't want our children to experiment.
Right.
Sorry, Prachi, please continue.
No, it's okay, Actually, Joyita ma'am, I was about to tell that whenever in school or in clinic, some young parents come to me for any of the problem of child, I have chalked out basic 4 steps. First thing is let your child express his or her own world. Don't tell every time, like you were saying, Joyita ma'am, we keep on telling children, ये मत करो, ऐसा मत करो, है ना? जैसे छोटा बच्चा है तो वो दे scribble on on walls and everything. We tell them मत करो, but we don't tell them कि आपको लिखना है, आप कहाँ लिख सकते हो, where you can scribble.
Exactly.
We tell them don't play with this. We don't tell them you can play with sand, you can play with stones. The thing is, once they will explore by themselves, then only they'll able to express themselves as well.
Yeah,
Am I
very-
right?
You are
And then after expressing, ensuring comes. Ensure them that I am with you. Like सबसे बड़ा fear क्या है बच्चों का कि I am disappointing my parents, मैं fail हो जाऊंगा तो क्या होगा? So parents should ensure them तुम fail हो गए, in your worst failure I am there. Then interest, like Shefali ma'am was saying, that love, unconditional love and support, I interest in you, right? जब तक trust build नहीं होगा, तब तक ये सारा parenting fail है.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Yes, and I'll tell you, I have seen a lot of parents do this. They want to bring up happy children. Now, please understand, the world will not let you be happy all the time. So let your child experience failure. Let your child experience disappointment. Let your child know that there are certain things which may be very attractive. He's dying to do it, but he cannot do it, because that is what is going to happen in the world when he
In the
steps
real
out.
world. Absolutely.
So train them for that. And this training can only come through love, affection, empathy, understanding time, everything we talked about. Assure them, like I said, when you fail, just turn around and I'm always there. But till you fail, it's your journey. Go and do it.
I know. I agree with you. And I think for me, it is what is important is, as I just said sometime back, you have to communicate with your children with a lot of respect. You have to give them undivided attention when they are talking to you. You don't do 10 things listening to your child.
You don't look at your child.
disrespect. Yes, it shows disrespect.
Yeah.
You have to treat them like mini adults, if I may say, because don't forget, a child has his own mind.
Right.
And all your life, you keep telling them, no, this is not allowed and that is not allowed. So the child gets confused, according to me. I think it is very important to be empathetic towards the child. You have to let them, as Joyita said very beautifully, कि भाई गलतियां करने दो,
Huh.
गलतियां करने दो.
I'll just add one more thing, that the child, and you have to invest a lot to make that happen. Your child has to know, and maybe you say it in so many words, because I tell my students in these words itself, that when you fail, please remember, you have failed at an event. You have failed in an exam. You have not failed.
Absolutely. It's a part of your life. It's not your life per se. It's not your life. You have to actually emphasize on more positives. हर इंसान में positive और negative तो होता ही है. Why do we keep poking at what people are not able to do? Instead, I think we should appreciate our children for what they are doing beautifully well. And most importantly, love them unconditionally. And another thing that I feel personally very close to is love them for who they really are, and not what you want what you want them to be.
Exactly. Otherwise, the connect will never happen.
Yeah, it will never happen.
When we keep saying, no, don't do this, don't do that, ye galat hai, wo galat hai, Shefali, the first outcome of such parenting is your child will never be a confident person.
You're right. Absolutely right. You come across so many kids like this in school, Joyita. And then how do you, like react to such children? Like, do you think you have to focus on being like, what do you say? Like, you have to control them or you have to actually connect with them? What's your philosophy?
I have to control them. I
Yeah,
have to
because the
control
number is very large. It's not
Yeah.
like a bacha.
But like I tell them, that look, if you don't do what is right, it reflects on me as a teacher. That means I am not able to keep things the way they are supposed to be.
Right.
Do you want me to look poor in front of people's eyes? And Shefali, such is the connect.
Wow.
I'm very blessed by God. My children, not on one day have they give me massive trouble in the class. Oh, we are fighting with each other. But in front of a third person, oh my God, never. Not one child in my lifetime has let me down. I'm very blessed.
Actually,
And I'm very blessed.
Shweta ma'am, you make them feel that you are a responsible human being, right? By giving them their freedom. Yes?
Huh.
It's very
Bilkul.
important. It's very important for the child to feel that they're responsible for something. And I feel you feel when you give them some responsibility, मुझे लगता है वो निभाने की कोशिश करते हैं. But when you do not give them responsibility and you make them feel कि अरे ये तो तुमसे नहीं होने वाला.
हाँ.
पहले तुमने कुछ नेगेटिव बोल दिया तो वो बच्चा क्या करेगा? You tell me, Prachi, you are a psychologist. What happens when parents are too controlling?
See, the first thing, as I told you, that we are actually जो communication है हम उसी को तोड़ रहे हैं. The bridge between you and your child, you are destroying that bridge by every time controlling. Then there are so many psychological effects on your child because if you are a very controlling parent, as Joyita ma'am said, that self-confidence and self-esteem will suppressed by controlling parents. Secondly, these children, they will never be able to perform as an autonomous, body. मतलब मैं अपने लिए खुद डिसीजन लूं, मैं क्या करना चाहता हूं, मैं अपनी फीलिंग्स, even there are students, they don't know about their own feelings, about their own emotions. गुस्सा आ रहा है तो क्यों?
That's why we say we have to validate their feelings. They have to feel validated. They should have such a
Joyita ma'am, you must be with students, that especially teenagers, and then when puberty starts, there are hormonal issues. So anger issue is there, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, they want to get acknowledged. और उस समय अगर हम उनको और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि parents become more controlling instead of establishing connect at that stage, और ज्यादा control करना चाहते हैं और चीजें फिर और बिगड़ जाती है.
प्रॉब्लम तो यही है ना कि हम भूल जाते हैं that we were not born 35 years old and 40 years old and 50 years old. We were also born like they were born. We've gone through all these emotions. Why can't we remember? अरे, the moment you remember ना, empathy वही जन्म लेगा.
Perfect. Absolutely.
And then this attitude that I am your parent or I am your teacher और मुझको तो सब पता है. I know it all.
That's the worst.
That's the worst thing then.
With me, my biggest problem is my children always know more than me. They invariably they know more than me. And, you were talking about anger. I really, really want to bring this up. And please don't think I'm boasting, but these are milestones I've achieved in my life, and I want to talk about it because I know it can be achieved. Do you know, and I'm taking a name today, very, very old student of mine. Her name is Rakhi Haldar. So, we would take classes and she was not one of those people, she's not a very bright kid. So, but when I started teaching that class, she used to be very quiet. She started volunteering. कि मुझे भी answer देना है. But most of the times, unfortunately, her answers were wrong, completely off the mark. So I would tell her that, no, beta, this is not it. this is the answer, and now you think and tell me, don't you think this is better? So I tried all my tricks. One day in the class, a class with about 50 students, something snapped in her and she turned around and fired the daylights out of me. I'm the teacher. She took off on me saying, you never appreciate it when I give an answer because you always tell me I am wrong. You don't talk to me like you talk to the others. When she was saying all this, you can imagine the class. You keep quiet. You can't talk to a teacher like that. You can't talk to ma'am like that. And I said, you all keep quiet. Let her say it. Let it come out. Everything came out of her. After that, she thought that now I'm going to counter her. I just told her two things. One was, thank you for holding up that mirror to me, Rakhi. I thought I was perfect. When you showed me this, I know where what areas I need to work on. That was the first thing I said. And the second thing I said was, now that you've taken it out, are you feeling better?
And I'm sure she would be.
My goodness, it's a bond for a lifetime. It's a bond of a lifetime.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, Joyita, it's that connect. It's that connect. आप सालों साल किसी को नहीं मिलते, मगर वो जो connect करते हो ना आप, वो रहता है. It's like a hook. I always tell parents, don't be reactive parents. Like anything, मतलब जो बोला तो react किया, जो बोला. First control your reaction. As a parent, तुम कहते हो भाई मैं parent हूँ, तो पहले अपना reaction control करो, and then help your children with their reactions. It is very important.
With controlling parents, the first thing, when I come across such parents, पहला reaction is denial. नहीं, हम तो ऐसा नहीं करते. So जब तक वो acceptance नहीं आएगा ना कि मतलब मैं इतना कंट्रोल कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ, तो तब तक मतलब हम चेंज की तरफ नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे, हम कनेक्शन की तरफ नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे. फर्स्ट थिंग एक्सेप्ट करो.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है.
जैसे जोयता मैम सेड, शी एक्सेप्ट कि वो बच्चे के अंदर कुछ है, शी एक्सेप्ट हर फीलिंग्स, शी वैलिडेट हर फीलिंग्स, इसलिए वो बॉन्ड बना है.
हाँ, you have to validate the feelings. उसके बिना आप सोचो बॉन्ड बनेगा, वो नहीं हो सकता. I think, yeah, Joyita, you were going to say something.
It's so unrealistic to expect मेरा बच्चा मुझ पे कभी नाराज नहीं होगा, वो कभी ऊंची आवाज में बात नहीं करेगा, वो कभी ऐसा नहीं करेगा, do something that is not going to be according to the way I want it. Which bubble are you living in?
Absolutely. And
you know what the result of this kind of control is? The most dangerous thing that happens is massive rebellion. When they leave your home and they step out, they don't want to turn around and look at you. वो उनका rebellion बड़ा जबरदस्त होता है. If they don't rebel, they will become sly. They will lie to you.
Right.
All those things. Because my parents are so reactive. ये बोलूंगा तो react करेंगे, मत बोलो.
हो जाता है. They don't realize, आप कहते हो आपका बच्चा झूठ बोल रहा है, but अगर वो बेचारा सच बोलना चाह रहा है, वो बोलता है, तो आप उसको थप्पड़ मार देते हो.
उसको डर है कि मैं बताऊंगा तो मेरे साथ क्या होगा,
हाँ, उसके साथ जब ऐसा होता है ना, when people immediately react कि अरे भाई मेरे को ये बात पसंद नहीं आई, I'm going to give you a slap. So after a few times the kid becomes smart and he says okay fine.
अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि मेरा बच्चा मुझसे बहुत चीजें छुपाता है या मेरा बच्चा मुझसे झूठ बोलता है ना, so the first thing you should ask yourself कि जब वो मुझे सच बताता है या जब वो गलतियां करता है, मेरा क्या रिएक्शन होता है. ठीक है, अगर इस बात का आंसर मैंने खुद को कर दिया है, so I am sorted.
Another thing which is a perpetual problem with parents is, which I think Joyita will agree, is that even Prachi, you will. We have this habit. We are today is what? Today is Saturday, right? Today is Saturday, and today if something happens and the child does something, but I'll invariably talk about something which happened last year or last month
Right.
or 2 years ago. I mean, God, please यार, give them a break. Obviously, एक चीज को करने के लिए आपने उसको सारा 5 साल का चीज याद दिला दिया. So what is happening? The child wonders, oh God, I only did this much today, but how come I had to hear so much of that?
I heard for the last 5 years.
Yeah. And then again, there is a disconnect.
And Shefali, you've actually brought up something very, very important. This is not only about a child and a parent or a teacher and a student. In any relationship,
Yeah.
if
In
you
any-
get in that groove, कि आज ये किया तो मैं तो पूरा हिस्ट्री निकाल के सुना दूंगी. None of your relationships will work, Shefali.
It won't.
Right.
Yes.
Very true, Gautama.
True.
कुछ भी नहीं.
बार
nothing-
किसी को आप एक चीज के लिए ब्लेम करते रहो जो पता नहीं कितने महीने पहले हुई है. एक दिन वो दूसरा
Just
आदमी
like
आके
the relationship, right.
भाई मुझे माफ कर दो. तो just
नहीं, and think about it.
snap.
Shefali, I think the paradox is here. यही चीज हम appreciation के लिए करते हैं कि
नहीं
10 साल
करते,
पहले
ये
ये बहुत
problem
अच्छा.
हाँ.
We don't. We are the
Right.
negative people. We have negative mindsets.
The problem is
Problem-
we need to change our mindset. We need to think.
Yes.
I think according to me, Joyita, the most important thing is acceptance. And
Right.
once that acceptance happens, things actually start to fall in place.
Yeah.
Because we do not accept it, that's where all the problem is all about.
हाँ.
And situation control में आ सकता है if with only one pause ना. कुछ हो गया है, बच्चे ने कोई बड़ा blunder कर दिया. Just take a pause before reacting.
Yeah.
You know?
One
With
pause.
just one pause is going to change the whole course of the situation.
Absolutely. Prachi, you must have heard about that DIPS case, right? DIPS. I would like to share this, Joyita. There was this famous
too.
case, DIPS, DIPS. There was a case study on this. And
Acha.
there was this child who, according to the parents, they thought the child has got no IQ. Okay. Because they thought the child is not taking interest in any kind of playing and he doesn't know how to play. And they would keep pushing the child to play according to what they wanted him to play. It became so much that finally they took him to a doctor. Okay. And they said, I think this kid requires therapy. There is something wrong with his mind, something wrong with his brain. I'll make the story short. What happened was when the doctor was having a conversation and things, like little bit tests here and there, they realized that the kid had a very high IQ of 168. But the problem was because the parents were not really spending time with the child. They didn't have that kind of patience. They didn't have that kind of, that connection with the child. They thought that child is no good. So you can imagine, this is a very famous case study which showed that how after that, when the parents really realized things about it, they started to make, amendments in their way of life, and the child was blossoming. Can you
Wow.
even imagine? And all that child required was attention and love. We need to really stay away from this controlling, the manipulating, and pulling the children all the time from their natural interests.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
very important. We don't even realize. We won't give them space. अगर तुमने सोच लिया कि बच्चे को मैथ्स ही करना है तो मैथ्स ही करना है.
There's one thing which struck my mind while you were saying all this.
Sure,
Shefali? Shefali and Prachi, tell me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm not. In this case, I'm definitely not. Dekho, from the way we are bringing them up, we all know that famous Shakespeare, the 7 ages of man. We are
Right.
born, then we
Yes.
become,
Right.
and we go through this whole thing and come to old age. Old
Right.
age again is your second childhood, right?
Right.
Right.
So we forget that our second childhood will come and our child will be our parent. And
Yes.
when that parent does this kind of parenting on me,
Imagine.
I will speak to
Right.
the whole world. कितना गंदा बच्चा है ये मेरा बेटा है और देखो what he's doing with me. What did I do with him when he was my little beta? I taught him na that this is how you treat somebody जो आप पे dependent है.
That's true. That's true.
We-
Very good.
We don't realize these things, Joyita. The
Very
issue-
thoughtful, right?
the issue
Yeah.
is that we can't let go of that control habit. How can we sort that out, Joyita?
letting go of control. You're asking me how can we let go of our control ना? देखो सबसे पहले तो please to all parents, to all people who are elder and they're dealing with these small ones, and by small I mean 17, 18. Look, that's the age group I deal with. So
Yeah.
for me, they are my bachchas. I don't deal with the baby ones, but from babies they come to this stage. So I'm talking about all of them. I have this line. Please let me read it to you.
I would love that. I love your lines, huh?
There was a family therapist by the name of Virginia Satir, Satir. And she has said, we need 4 hugs a day for survival.
Wow.
We need 8 hugs a day for maintenance. And we need 12 hugs a day for growth.
Wow.
Look, the first way to let go of control for me is you tell yourself कि ये मेरा routine है. I'm not saying please go to your 16-year-old son and hug him 12 times a day. He will not like it at all. But there are other ways to connect. Tussle the hair, touch him. You're moving around. पीठ पे एक बार हाथ दे के निकल जाओ. That is where it starts.
But little touch is so important.
Yes. Just a little touch. You're walking. He's doing something. You're walking. बस हाथ को पकड़ के यूं कर दो और निकल जाओ. I don't know. I think it makes the world of difference. You take out time and not according to your convenience. Take out time according to your child's convenience to
Very
sit and have a chat here and chat about things that they want to talk about. Take an interest in what they are doing.
Oh,
The-
that's so true. That's so true, Joyita. I started
Very
watching what kind of films that my son is watching. I mean, and
Yes.
sometimes it's so funny. Like today, he
I
asked me,
connect more with their cartoons sometimes.
immediately connect होगा. Immediately connect हो जाएगा.
Yeah,
You know, there is a lot of unlearning that we need to do.
we really
It's
need.
us. Yeah, it's us. I keep saying it. It is end of the day us. Look, by this I don't mean to say that there are no problematic children. Yes, there are. I'm in the teaching profession. I know there are children who are you can't break through to them. आप कुछ भी कर लो. But always remember, there is something that has happened to make him like this.
Absolutely. There is a reason for that.
Yes. If you are really interested, you will try to get right there. Find out where this child is hurting
Yeah.
and make a connect from there.
It's very important. It's
Yes. These are the little ways I think, I may not like fast food. My son, obviously, aaj ka bachcha hai, loves fast food. I can't sit and keep giving lectures on, nutritional value of food all the time. I can tell it that zyada mat khana.
Yeah.
But you want to have it today? Have it your way.
You know, Joyita, if I'm not mistaken, what you said is a beautiful point here. A lot of times we do things and we don't lecture our children for these things. Don't you think setting limits is also a part of connecting?
See, at my house, Joyita ma'am, I have 2 young boys at my home, and you know their love for fast food. सो मेरे घर में रूल है कि संडे मुझे भी ब्रेक चाहिए ना एक दिन कुकिंग से, संडे हम मैगी खाते, बट ओनली संडे, एंड देन माय बॉयज आर नॉट आफ्टर मी एवरी डे कि हमें फास्ट फूड खाना है, दे नो संडे इज द डे डिसाइडेड फॉर दिस थिंग, आई एम सॉर्टेड एंड दे आर हैप्पी.
वो भी समझ गए, they are getting what they want.
Basically, what happens, Joita,
हाँ, बोलो.
children need structure. That includes actually a little bit of, like you have to be a little consistent and you have to be predictable.
Yes, consistency.
And reasonable kind of rules for a feeling of respect and for security and safety.
Yeah.
And I think they understand that. They understand that. But of course, that's why I said that setting limits is also a part of connection. It's very important.
And these rules should be for everyone in the house. These limits should be for everyone in the house. ऐसा नहीं है कि बच्चों के लिए ये और मैं तो मम्मा हूँ, मैं तो कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. It should not be there.
There's another side to it. कि जैसे देखो, we are talking about connect. ठीक है? आप इस तरह से समझाओ ना, that look, there must be things about me also that you don't like. आज आप मुझे बोलो, what are the changes you want to see in me? मैं भी कोशिश करती हूँ, and I am telling you, ये आप थोड़ा change करने की कोशिश करो.
It has to be both ways.
Yeah, when you give, you will get.
You get.
It's simple.
Parents
and
who are
basic rule should be, Shefali ma'am, is looking forward for positive interaction.
I agree with you. Parents who are actually whoever successfully connects with the children, they're actually, they make it sure, they convey it to children in such a manner that we are emotionally available for you all the time. And they're involved parents, not distant parents. Ki bhai remote control, bhai maid ne ye kar diya, wo ho gaya. It doesn't work like that. And then when you see them, you're like, oh, how come you're not studying? How come you're not doing this? It doesn't work like that. Like whenever you see them, you only lecture them. That is not education. That is not connection.
Not at all.
बहुत एक कॉमन चीज मैंने देखी अपने आसपास भी कि like even screen time is a biggest problem nowadays with kids and parents are after them. इतना गेम मत खेलो, इतना टीवी मत देखो, but parents are every time on mobile, right? So if you have a rule, you have to limit yourself, है ना? Like I said, मेरे घर में रूल है कि डिनर के बाद में half an hour, 45 minutes, they can watch a movie or a cartoon, whatever it is. And I sit and watch with them. और बहुत मजा आता है जोयता मैम उनके साथ. चाहे वो लिटिल स्टुअर्ट हो, चाहे वो चिपमंक्स हो, I enjoy with them. मेरी गोद में बैठ के वो भी हंसते हैं, मैं भी हंस रही हूँ.
प्राची, क्योंकि हम सबके अंदर एक बच्चा है. It's such a beautiful opportunity. When I sit with my 19-year-old son, I become a 19-year-old all over again.
Wow.
I mean,
it's great fun now. Mohan is experimenting new things. So I keep looking at him and like, wow, you can do it. I said, how about doing it this way? And he says, Mama, why don't you try this? So, and if I behave like, no, I don't want to, automatically he'll ask me 5 times. He's not going to ask me all the time. And I've realized like he takes a lot of interest in my life. If I'm sitting by myself on a Saturday evening, he'll tell me, hey, why don't you go out with your friends? Why don't you go? I'm like, oh, I think I really like it. Ki kabhi if he sees me a bit off, he tells me, hey, why don't you go for a cup of coffee or go to a friend's house, have a nice dinner and come back? I love it because I realize ki yaar ye meri taraf dekh raha hai. It feels
because
so good.
you have shown empathy, he is also becoming an empathic person,
Yes, because absolutely. It's a two-way traffic.
और एक चीज है, it just struck my mind कि one of the best ways of connecting, find things that you can both laugh about. Bhale the joke is on you, but something that will make both of you laugh. Laughter is such a positive reinforcement, my goodness. And itna connect, you connect so well. You think of us adults in social situations. A person who can make you laugh, who can keep you engaged, don't we get drawn towards them?
Right.
Of
So
course.
obviously, the same rule applies to everybody, even my child.
Of course. Sarah time, if you have sob stories to discuss with them, they're not interested. I mean, come
No
on. They
one
need
knows the imaginary person behind them, whether it's their mother or whether it's their teacher or it's their elder sibling. हर किसी को अपना space चाहिए. We should give them.
I just remembered something pretty disconnected to what we are talking about. But I
Okay.
must tell you, I saw this on Facebook पे ही देखा होगा. There is this picture of a grandfather and a tiny little grandchild coming back from the market. ठीक है? With a jhola full of vegetables. And the grandfather is saying, and this is so beautiful, the grandfather is saying, you know, when I used to go to the market, I could buy all of this. I could get all of this for 2 rupees, yeah, 3 rupees. Now the grandfather is saying the truth of the grandfather. Unka time. Look at the child's reaction. Oh, you were a thief? Because the child can never understand. अरे 2020 में कौन सा बच्चा समझेगा कि you could buy stuff for 5 paise and you could go from here to there for 1 rupee. They don't connect. अरे भैया, connect with them on what they understand.
Times are
And then
different.
misunderstandings जन्म लेती ना. Then there are misunderstandings. है ना?
Yes.
ये बच्चा सोच रहा है कि मेरे grandfather was a thief, which is the biggest misunderstanding. You know.
Too funny. कि बच्चा सोच रहा है
Yeah. I think it's a time frame. You need to also, when we are growing, we also need to grow with our children. We need to grow with them. We need to not live in the past. We need to grow with them. I have a little story to share here. My
please.
grandmother, she's no more. She couldn't really. She only knew Hindi or she knew Kashmiri. But I must tell you one thing I loved about her, and I keep telling so many people about it, which is she just knew. She just knew how to connect. उनको एक लफ्ज इंग्लिश का नहीं आता था, but she would come next to me and she would, उन दिनों में वो वाले फोन होते थे वायर वाले, and if I was speaking in English, she would like, हाँ करो गुटर गुटर, मैं सब समझती हूँ. And then just one word, love you. She said, you love you, मुझे आता है. And I used to just smile at her. And like I remember Joyita, she could not understand such में not even a word of what was happening in English, but she insisted on watching English movies with us also, because she just wanted to sit there and just sit with us. And then after 5 minutes she would just doze off and she would get up and she said, क्या हुआ था? I said,
Oh, lovely.
कुछ नहीं हुआ, बाद में बताओ.
Lovely.
And she wanted to know the whole story in Hindi. But now I can tell you that was her beautiful way of connection.
Shefali,
You
you
don't
just
think, Joyita ma'am or Shefali ma'am, that connection बनाना बहुत आसान है rather than controlling the things.
Of
connection
course,
बनाना कितनी ज्यादा आसान है.
बहुत आसान है. But we don't want
easy.
because इसके
But
लिए
then
आपको
you
देना
want
पड़ता
to
है.
control. Why?
That's because you for connection you have to put those seeds of time, patience, love, empathy.
I mean, there are very small things in house you can do and you can establish the connection. Like as I told you, घर में अभी when the lockdown was there, maids were not coming, सारा household करना है, तो सारा काम मैं अपने ऊपर ले लूं and keep चिड़चिड़ करते रहूं. It's better
बिल्कुल.
कि involve my children. है ना, वेजिटेबल आया है तो मैं उन बच्चों को बोल रही हूँ, बच्चे वेजिटेबल सॉर्ट करो, मेरे साथ डस्टिंग करो, एंड हम मजे में तीनों काम भी कर रहे हैं, काम भी हो रहा है और बॉन्ड भी बन रहा है. इट इज वेरी इजी. नहीं कहता मैम, अगर आपके यहाँ बड़े बच्चे हैं, जस्ट इन्वॉल्व देम इन योर डिसीजंस. घर में पेंट होना है, बताओ, उनसे पूछो कि हम कौन सा कलर कर सकते हैं और कर्टन्स कैसे खरीद सकते हैं. कितनी आसान है कनेक्ट करना.
That their opinion matters.
That's very
Right.
important. That their
Yes.
opinion matters.
But I want you to give your opinion because your opinion matters to me. कौन कहता है that only they will have problems and come to us? क्यों ना मैं अपना प्रॉब्लम लेके अपने बेटे को बोलूं, दिस इज व्हाट आई एम फेसिंग, भाई बोल, व्हाट डू यू थिंक आई शुड डू? अरे दैट इज व्हेन दे विल इन्वॉल्व देमसेल्व्स, दैट इज व्हेन दे विल कनेक्ट. हम खुद ही दूर एंड
True. The most precious gift that you can give to anybody in your life is
Yeah.
your time and attention.
Yeah.
These two things.
Another very
Very-
important thing to really add to it, the ability to listen, not talk.
Oh, it's very important. Actually, if you're a good listener, that's the
To
best
know
thing that you can. Yes.
that your child could be saying everything that you don't want to hear. Lekin suno, give your child the chance to express.
It's very
That-
important.
And you know, Jyota ma'am, as a psychologist, maximum time when I'm working with young children, primary children, maximum
Yeah.
time they only want some. वो मेरे पास इसलिए आते हैं ताकि वो अपनी बातें मुझसे कर सकें, है ना? They want a patient listener. They don't want any solution to their problem. उनको पता है क्या करना है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, बट उनको कोई मिल नहीं रहा है जिसके सामने वो अपना दिल खोल के बात कर सके.
कोई सुन तो ले, एग्जैक्टली कोई सुन ले, कुछ नहीं करना पड़ेगा, बट हियर मी आउट.
That's very important.
हाँ, 2 sentences they say and then I'll probably jump in and say, no beta, it's not like that. कहानी वहीं खत्म. He doesn't want to continue anymore. है ना?
That's true. That's true. I think now it's almost time to end our program. But I mean, in the beginning is what I really wanted to say, but it's okay. But I would like to, as discussed with you, Joyita,
हाँ,
Khalil Gibran is what
Yes,
comes to my
please.
mind.
please, please.
Comes to my
We are
mind.
eagerly waiting for that.
You
Your-
must read it out.
Yes, your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrows that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable.
You know, Shefali, aaj tak, I've not read this poem even once out loud without
Yeah.
having tears in my eyes. I still have
think-
tears in my eyes.
I think this is the most beautiful thing that we should actually keep reminding our own selves when we think of our own children. Please.
And I want opportunity,
I-
Shefali.
Yeah, please, Joyita, go on.
I want to take this opportunity, even if one of my children are listening to this, or someday somebody listens to a recording of this, I unconditionally apologize to every single student of mine who has ever felt that I was imposing myself on them. I must have done something wrong, and I apologize. My intention has always been to connect. I've always treated and that's the first thing. I've never thought of you as somebody else's child.
I can understand,
I have
Joyita. You
gone wrong.
are so passionate about children. It is unbelievable. I mean, I'm also in a similar industry, and I can tell you
Yeah.
that it is such a beautiful feeling when you are helping so many children. And to me also, they just seem like my own children. I don't have that feeling actually in me that I can
वो कभी
distinguish
नहीं आएगा. It
child
won't
and
come.
children. And
It won't come.
yes, of course, the whole idea is to connect and not control. So in case people, you think you have been control freaks, please, this is a time for you to accept and then work towards a change. Believe me, validate their feelings through love, patience. And I tell you, everything will change. But you have to make that connect and stop controlling. So here we are. Thank you, CatFit, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, ladies, for this fantastic session. Good
Thank
evening
you.
once again.